Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Memoir of My Banking Journey by Mr. V.H. Ramakrishnan, Retired General Manager of Bank of India. Episode number 15. The chapter Delhi Chalo, My Experiences as a General Manager is continuing. The link of earlier episodes is available in description. Board meetings galore. One of the assignments of General Manager of Delhi is to host board meetings of the bank. Even though the board meetings were held in other centers also once in a while next to Mumbai, Delhi used to host maximum meetings. During my tenure, we would have conducted 15 to 20 meetings. Within a few days of my taking charge, I got a call from the board secretary that we have to host a board meeting. The general office did not have a big conference room. The chairman, Mr. Dahotre, suggested that we could hold the meeting in Punjab National Bank. He spoke to Mr. Gilani, the then CMD of PNB. They had a big boardroom. After the meeting, we had an excellent healthy lunch in their dining hall. However, some of the directors were not happy that a bank of our size held its meeting in another bank. So when the second meeting was proposed, we were asked to arrange in a hotel. I had heard about the practice of giving mementos to the directors when the meetings were held outside Mumbai. I spoke to the CMD and informed him that since many meetings would be held in Delhi, I would not like to offer mementos to the directors. He immediately agreed. Organizing a board meeting was like conducting a wedding. Our first problem was to fix a venue. We thought five-star hotels would be very expensive and they might not be as flexible like a smaller hotel. Our PRO Kapoor suggested that we could hold the meetings at Connaught Place Hotel. It was a three-star hotel. They had a very good conference room. The food served was of a very good quality. Our industrial finance branch was located in one wing. They were also our landlords. So we fixed the meeting there. Luckily, everything went up well. The board members were happy with the conference room and the food served. So all further meetings were held at the same venue. The next point to be taken care of was the escort officers. We had to allot an escort officer for each director as well as for each general manager. We picked the officers and I remember to have had one meeting with them. I explained the do's and don'ts. If they had any problem, they were advised to contact the PRO. We tried to keep the same officer for the director for every meeting so that they would be quite comfortable. The accommodation was arranged in Park Hotel located very close to the general office. They gave an excellent service. We never changed the hotel throughout my tenure. Kapoor took care of transport arrangements. I had taken permission from the chairman to receive him at the airport whenever he was coming for the board meeting. I always used to pity the board secretary who had to take care of the whims and fancies of the directors. Our real problem was last minute changes in the travel plans. Some directors would have booked for early flights. If the meeting was delayed, then they would change their travel plans. Kapoor was a master in getting all these changes done because of his excellent relationships in Indian Airlines. Those days, private airlines were not there. Jet had just started its operation in 1995. In every room booked for the required guests, he kept his folder with names and phone numbers of the general manager, joint general manager, and the PRO. We also kept the phone numbers of a doctor in case of an emergency. Overall, it was a good experience. I should also mention here that once Northwestern Zone had arranged a management committee meeting or a board meeting, I am not sure, in a resort on the way to Simla. It was on the hills, say about 25 kimis from Chandigarh. Mr. Katoria was the chairman. The chairman wanted to catch the evening flight from Delhi to Mumbai. I told him when he landed in Delhi that would be a touch and go affair. He then suddenly told me, Ramakrishnan, you come and pick me up tomorrow afternoon. Whenever you want, I will leave. It is your responsibility to see that I am on the flight. I told him I'd do that, but I was not sure whether he was serious or not. I debated within myself whether I should go or not. Finally, I decided I would take a chance and go. So I took the car with one of our best drivers. I reached the resort by about 1 p.m. Just then the lunch was over. The moment the chairman saw me, he told me that whenever I wanted, he could leave. So he was serious. I had a quick bite and we started immediately. When we were entering Panipat, I could see two officers of Bank of India standing and waving at us. We stopped the car. They had arranged for tea in a good restaurant. Finally, we reached an hour before the departure time. Kapoor was ready with the boarding card. I must mention here that Northwestern Zone used to make excellent arrangements for board meetings. Once as GM, I went to attend a board meeting there. We all went by Shatabdi Express from Delhi. When the train stopped at a station just before Chandigarh, two officers got into the compartment and started putting labels on our luggage. To that extent, everything was well planned. Great hospitality. A fight with head office. Bikaspuri branch was located in a residential area. The branch had substantial retail deposits. We were way ahead of other banks in the area. Sunil Agarwal was the manager, a very efficient and intelligent person. He quit later and joined IDBI Bank and now is on his own. Mr. Batra, secretary of the Officers Association, told me that the branch is crammed and suggested that I should visit the branch on a Sunday. So I left home early morning and reached exactly 15 minutes before the opening. That was my first visit. I saw a queue of about 50 persons on the road. I asked my driver whether any morning show was in a theatre. My driver said that it was the queue in front of our branch, waiting for the doors to open. I had never seen such a rush. I went in and found a pleasant Sunil and his team ready to meet the challenge. Sunil told me that the bank had such a reputation that there was no need to go out and canvass for business. It was enough if we catered to the work in business. Every day, 10 to 20 new accounts were opened. I could see the excellent counter service provided. The only problem was the space. The branch had overgrown the space available. I told Sunil to look for another building nearby. A few days later, Sunil brought a proposal. A building was under construction almost next door by the same landlord. The space available was almost three times the present space. I personally visited and satisfied myself that it was suitable for the branch. Though the space would be more than what was needed, I was sure that within a couple of years the branch would expand to justify the space. Taking a medium term point of view, we prepared a proposal and sent to head office. We made out a good case giving the high growth rate of the branch. But to my utter disappointment, the proposal was turned down by the premises committee of general managers, saying that the area was much bigger than what was needed. I was very upset. Then I remembered our chairman, Mr. Dhautre, used to tell the general managers that they should write him a due letter in case they had any issue with head office. I wrote immediately a letter to him, pouring out my disappointment. I wrote inter alia, the premises committee only defers decisions and never takes decisions. I am on the man on the spot. Weightage should have been given to my recommendations. Without any second thought, I sent the letter, never realizing it was going to create a storm in a teacup at the head office. Later on, I regretted that I need not have used such harsh words about the committee, which consisted of senior general managers. 2 days later, Mr. Dahoutre called me on phone and told me that since he was coming very often to Delhi, I could have told him about the proposal. He would have taken care of it. I learned later that the general managers were unhappy and told the chairman to send a strong reply to me. Besides, there was one vacancy at HO for DGM, and one of the general managers, who was a member of the premises committee, suggested that I should be transferred to HO. Then Mr. Dahotre was reported to have told them, look, I have been telling the general managers to write to me if they have any problem. He is only one who has written to me. Do you want to punish him for that? No, I'll talk to him. Mr. Dahotre got the proposal cleared within a week. When I thanked him, he just laughed. What a great executive. The story will not be complete if I do not write what happened to the branch later. We had to get a successor for Mr. Sunil Agarwal. When he got promoted to Skill 4, I called Chief Officer Personnel Mr. Kurana. He suggested the name of Mr. S.C. Arora. He said Arora was working as concurrent auditor in Kamalanagar branch. According to Kurana, Arora was underutilized. I had one meeting with Aurora and then decided to send him to Vikaspuri. There were some murmurs from some quarters that it was the wrong choice. I had full faith in Kurana's assessment. After a couple of years under Mr. Aurora, the branch won the award for Best Metropolitan Branch in India. This was followed by an interview for foreign postings. Mr. Aurora appeared and with the award in his hand, he got selected for New York. Meanwhile, the branch had again overgrown the space in the new building. Aurora retired as a GM. Lesson I learned. The general manager has to learn to be an event manager also. Fight for a cause if you are fully convinced, but watch your language. Tailpiece. A love story with a difference. In the early 60s, two handsome young men, A and B, joined our bank in Chennai as direct recruit officers. At the same time, a young lady, C, also joined the bank as an officer. All the three were in the same branch. Both A and B fell in love with C. C chose A. B was disappointed, but he was a practical person. He did not sport a board, he did not sport a bird or become like Devadas. He knew C had a younger sister D, resembling C, so he proposed to D. So on an auspicious day, A and B got married to C and D respectively. By sheer coincidence, A and B were selected for foreign posting and went abroad to different branches. After the completion of the term, both resigned and settled abroad permanently and lived happily ever after. Disclaimer: this was hearsay. They were abroad when I joined the bank. I met both later on different occasions. The kingmakers. Before I proceed further, I have to mention about the heads of personal development. I always used to feel as a junior officer working at the Chennai General Office that maximum time of general manager is taken by the head of personal development. He would get priority over other heads of departments. The role of a personal manager is very important. He has to be impartial, should know the potential of each and every person, and should be able to come out with upbeat ideas. I remember Mr. E. Krishnan, who was in charge of personal development at head office when I joined the bank. Once when I went to HO, he greeted me, "How are you, Hariharan Ramakrishnan?" He used to remember the full names of almost all the officers in the bank. I had no problem in Delhi as I had an excellent person in S. Raman as Chief Officer Personnel COP. I have written about him already. When he was promoted, I had a problem in finding a substitute. I interviewed three or four officers. Of all of them, I found Mr. R.C. Kurana as quite suitable. He was heading the C&IC department in General Office. One quality in him which I found praiseworthy was he was not a yes man. He would listen to you and then would say, "Sir, what you say is right, but there may be some problem if you do like that." Then he would give an alternate solution without offending the boss. He was a quiet person, had an analytical mind, always polite. I decided to take a chance and made him in charge of personal development. He did a wonderful job. He had a knack of locating potential branch managers from the second line. Many people who came to the top position in the bank from Delhi really owe him a lot. I used to do a talent hunt in my own way. Whenever I visit a branch, I used to interact with the staff. If someone impresses me, I would immediately tell Khurana about the staff member and to remember to post him to IB or overseas branch or as branch manager. Khurana would make his own study and at the right moment would come to me and tell me about how we could utilize him. He would never forget the names I gave him. There was no need for me to follow up at all. He retired as the general manager of the bank and is now with PNB as Chief Customer Service Officer. After Khurana got promoted, I selected Pawan Gujral as COP, a very calm person with excellent rapport with association and union. I would not call him proactive, but he could perform his duties well. Whatever the JDM wanted, he would get it done. Motivation beyond words. For the rise and rise of Gauri Shankar, Mayur Vihar was one of our prestigious and popular branches in Delhi. When the vacancy arose, as usual, I called Kurana. He immediately came out with the name of Gauri Shankar, who was second officer in one of the branches. Normally, Kurana used to come with two or three names. This time, he gave only one name. Though I had seen Gauri Shankar during my branch visits, I did not have much interactions with him. So I asked Kurana whether he was sure that Gauri Shankar would perform well. Kurana told me that he would guarantee that. As usual, I trusted his wisdom and told him to go ahead. Gauri Shankar took charge. I visited the branch and found him doing well. That was the period when computerization was going on, not core banking. One day Gauri Shankar phoned me and wanted me to inaugurate the computerized operations. I asked him whether he was implementing the single window concept. He replied that he was not implementing it since there were some issues. I know that the staff union had reservations about the single window concept and there were localized resistance. I told Gauri Shankar that I would not come to inaugurate unless he implements single window system. I do not know what he did. He called me after 2 hours and said he had sorted out the issues and the branch would be having single window facility. I was impressed by his actions and kept up my word. As was my policy, I did not shift Gauri Shankar from the branch. Every year he was able to meet all the targets. One fine morning he phoned me and informed me that he would like to share a very good news with me. He told me that he has got excellent rating from internal audit for the third year in succession. I was simply delighted. To get excellent rating for even 1 year was considered difficult. To get the same continuously for 3 years was something very unique. I thought I should do something special for him. My operations department also confirmed that no other branch in our zone had achieved such a distinction. So I wrote a due letter to the then chairman, Mr. G. Katuria, informed him about the achievement of Mr. Gauri Shankar and requested him to send a letter of appreciation signed by him to the manager so that it would motivate him further. A week passed. I got a call from the chairman. I am going to quote the conversation as far as I could remember so that you can fully appreciate what had happened. Quote, Mr. Katuria, Ramakrishnan, he wanted me to send a letter to Gauri Shankar. I am not going to send him any letter. There was a pause. I, with disappointment. That is fine, sir. Mr. Katuria continues. But I am going to reward him by sending him to Singapore for training for 6 months. I exclaiming, sir, that is fantastic. Katuria, you know Ramakrishnan, when I got your letter, I asked audit department to check whether any other manager in the country has secured three excellent ratings for three continuous years. They said no. Only Gaurasankar has achieved this. Then I asked Nayak, C. Singapore, whether he can manage to get a permit for the training officer for 6 months. He said yes. Then I called the personal development and told them to organize the training. But they objected. They said we cannot just like that send anyone abroad. There is a selection process. He has to appear before an interview committee. I told them that I am the chairman with more than 50,000 staff. Do you mean to say, as a chairman, I cannot send one officer of my choice abroad for 6 months? Go ahead and issue the order. I thank you very much, sir. This is something unheard of in our bank. I have no words to express my feelings. Kataria laughs. Unquote. Why I am writing in such detail is because this was one of my best moments in the bank. I felt as if I was being sent abroad. You should note the following points. The chairman did not treat my letter as a routine letter. He took pains to verify whether there were similar cases all over the country. Amidst his multifarious activities, he took time to do something differently to motivate the officer. He had not been seen the face of this officer. Based purely on performance, he went out of the way to send the officer abroad. He fought with the establishments for the sake of seeing Scale 2 or Scale 3 officer. The generosity of heart of the chairman. A big salute to that visionary Mr. Katuria. Why I am so proud. A teacher is always proud when his student passes with distinction. After a few months, Korisankar got the rank, work permit, and left for Singapore for training. I was also transferred to head office at GM International. When Gauri Sankar's term was coming to an end, there was a vacancy in Indonesia where he had a representative office. Mr. Kataria said it would be better to send someone from Singapore to Indonesia. We decided instead of asking Gauri Sankar to come back to India, we would send him to Jakarta. So he became our representative at Jakarta and did a wonderful job. On his return, he was posted to computer department. Here again, he did a good job. After holding various assignments in the bank, he became a general manager and now is the executive director of Punjab National Bank. He was also acting as MD for a few months. Even after 14 years after my retirement, he calls me very promptly on my birthday to greet me, even if he is abroad. I wish him all the best in life. I feel very happy I had a small role to play in developing his career path. But the turning points came because of Mr. Katuria. And Mr. Katuria, in fairness to Gauri Shankar, I would say that even otherwise, he would have come up in the bank because of his merit. Lessons I learned: an impartial personal manager can really be a good kingmaker. The general manager should be very careful in selecting the chief of personal development. Motivation can be done in many ways, and upbeat thinking will help a lot. Tailpiece. In the middle 70s, Mr. P.M. Kopikar was your regional manager in Chennai. A jovial person, he was very strong in English. One day he called me to his cabin and gave me a slip of paper. In it was written what I am doing. He asked me to read it with emphasis on each word at a time. So I stylishly read as under. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Then he told me, you are making a fool of yourself. I came out with a stupid look on my face. Then I found a few officers smiling at me sheepishly. I knew I was not alone to be fooled. Visit of executives. One of the professional duties of the general manager at Delhi was to play host to the top executives of the bank. My Nigerian experiences helped me a lot in this regard. It was interesting to note the different characters and attitudes of our top executives. I will start with the then chairman, Mr. J.S. Dahotre. I had already mentioned about his informal approach. I would cover other aspects now. Whenever he landed in Delhi, his first question would be, Delhi में क्या हो रहा है? What is happening in Delhi? Could not say nothing. Delhi general manager's reputation is measured by his capacity to know in advance what is going to happen in the banking industry. So I planned a strategy. I told Badrinath and later Kapoor that they should bring me at least three new gossips from the banking division a day before the arrival of the chairman. Invariably, Mr. Dhawate would say he already knew about at least two of the three such news. This is besides calling him on phone whenever a hot development took place. Whenever you are with Mr. Dhawate, he would always give you some management tips. Here are a few samples which I can recollect. Whenever a minister or a powerful politician telephones the chairman for some favor, he would never say no. He would always say, no problem, I'll get it done. Mr. Dawat explained further. There is a person sitting before the politician asking him to speak to the chairman. If we say yes, the politician feels happy and the person sitting before him also feels happy. But the CMD said he would not do anything. After a few days, the person would again go to the politician saying his matter is not done. This time also when the politician telephones the CMD, he would feign surprise and tell him that I had already told the general manager. I am surprised that it is not yet done. I will talk to him right now. Again, the politician is happy and he gets a positive response. But no action would be taken. Now, according to Mr. Dawatre, the person who went to the politician would not go and disturb him for a third time, and the matter would end there. This is one way of doing things without antagonizing the politician. Never join a big consortium with a small share of rupees 1 or 2 crores. Then you will be treated like a poor cousin in a wedding. He would be told, please wait outside. You will also get the food. But the same amount, if you give to a medium-sized businessman, he would salute you morning and evening and would be grateful for helping him. Once we were talking about an intercaste marriage which he was to attend, then I told him many fathers say that they would disown the daughter if she goes for such a marriage. Mr. Dawate said, these are movie dialogues. The father should never disown the daughter. It is like an insurance policy for the girl. In case she suffers, she has to come to father only. When the chairman visited me in my early days, he told me that there would be a group staff who would always look for your weakness to exploit you. They would first try to find out whether you are corrupt. If you are not corrupt, then would try to find out whether you drink a lot. If that is not the case, they would try to find out whether you are a purposely. I am leaving this blank. You can guess. If none of the above apply, they have a last weapon that you favor your community people. How true his words were. I faced the last charge once about which I will write later. Once when on a visit, he was staying at Taj Mansingh. I went to pick him up at around 8:30 in the morning. He told me that he had not taken breakfast. He said he was tired of a five-star hotel breakfast and would like to go to a typical South Indian restaurant for simple breakfast. I told him that all the restaurants in the Connaught Circus area would open only after 10 a.m. Then I informed him that if he was game, I could take him to Uni Canteen at the end of Parliament Street. But I cautioned him that he would have to stand and eat as there were no chairs. He agreed. Uni Canteen was located behind United News of India office, popularly known as UNI. It was run by a Tamil Brahmin for many number of years. The snacks were very cheap. You have to stand below a big tree and keep your plate on a tall table and eat. Self-service. A plate of idli was costing less than rupees 5. Very good quality. It was a sort of meeting point for journalists. Many office squares used to throng the place. So both of us went there. I collected the idli vada and Mr. Dhawte picked up 2 glasses of water for us. This was on great quality in him. He would come down to your level and make you comfortable. No snobbery or inhibitions. He enjoyed the breakfast like anything. In fact, even now when I visit Delhi, I try to go there. The only thing which has changed is the price. The journal office was in Jeevan Bharati building. Adjacent to my cabin was the cabin earmarked for the chairman to occupy during his visit. I found the room earmarked for chairman had better ventilation and the central air conditioning was more effective there than in my room. LIC, who were the owners, did not give permissions to install room air conditioners. I wanted to switch the cabins. Once when Mr. Dahatre came, I sought his permissions with a lot of hesitation. He readily agreed, saying, he comes once in a while and hardly occupies the room. It was a fine gesture. In 1994, we had only about 10 general managers in the bank. Mr. Dahatre made a proposal to the ministry to create another 8 posts. Even though the request was made sometime in April, it was making slow progress. Our limited number of posts always came in the way of many executives becoming general managers at a young age. No one had become a general manager before reaching 55. I saw a great opportunity for many youngsters becoming general managers if additional posts were created. Of course, selfish interest also played a part. So I quietly started following up this matter personally with the banking division. There was no pressure from head office for following up this. Finally, in November 1994, the approval came. When I informed him over phone about the approval, he was surprised. Obviously, he did not expect approval in toto. Due to certain reasons, Mr. Dhavatre could not conduct the interviews before he retired in January 1995. Mr. Katoria, who succeeded him, took the interviews in May 1995. I was also lucky to get promoted as GM because of the additional post. Gradually, promotions from AGM level got speeded up. Many investors could become ED and chairman. The bank should always remember these major contributions by Mr. Dahatre. 3 months prior to his retirement, Mr. Dahatre visited Delhi. He wanted a press meet to be organized. we arranged. While addressing the press, he made a casual mention that the bank would be declaring a loss of around rupees 1200 crore for the year ending March 1995. Next day morning, all the papers carried a three-column front page headline screaming that Bank of India is going to declare a huge loss. The chairman read this in Mumbai and called me, asked me how come this adverse publicity had come. I told him that for the press, this was a sensational news. Mr. Dhavatre had decided to clean up the balance sheet by making full provisions. His announcements in advance prepared the banking division as well as RBI for the shock. It was a master stroke. In February, the GM Credit and his team traveled the major zones, including Delhi and Hague, asked us to make maximum provisions. As a cleanup process, ultimately the loss was lower than predicted by him. No other chairman would have shown a loss balance sheet before his retirement. It was a bold move. We are now watching how many chairmen make huge provisions immediately after taking charge and show good results before retiring. Before I conclude about Mr. Dawat's visits, I should also mention about his very efficient secretary, Mr. J. N. Patel. On many occasions, I had to telephone the chairman. I used to call Patel, who would normally connect immediately. Sometimes he would ask me whether the matter was urgent. If I say no, he would tell me, Sir, the chairman is in not a good mood now. I'll call you back. As promised, he would call back, telling me that the chairman was in a good mood. It helped me a lot. He was an ideal secretary. Later on, went to San Francisco. He came back to India. I think after VIS, he joined Ratnagar Bank. I have lost touch with him. Lessons I learned. The visits of chairmen should be utilized to learn about executive qualities at the highest level. We should listen more and should not indulge in boasting about our achievements. Tailpiece. Circa 1967, Chennai main branch. R. Sundaragopal was an ace stenographer attached to the manager Madras branches. Later designated as regional manager. Mr. M.S. Somanarayanan Somi was in charge of advances department. I was also in the same department. We are preparing for the local committee meeting to be held the next day. In those days, there were no electric typewriters. There was no memory. If there was a mistake, we had to apply whitener and then retype over it. There was an important proposal running into a dozen pages. Sundaragopal was typing the proposal. He first gave a draft. Swami made the corrections on the draft and gave it for final typing. By about 8:30 p.m., Sundaragopal finished the typing and gave the proposal. Beautiful typing, not a single mistake. As usual, we had coffee and with the energy it gave and the happiness that the work was over, Swami as usual started cracking some jokes. Then to avoid confusion, he tore up the draft, or at least that was what he thought. But by mistake, he tore the newly typed original. He realized his group could up within seconds. There was no other alternatives except to type it fresh. He begged Sundaragopal to put some preconditions. After a promise of an English movie at Casino Theatre, followed by dinner, Sundaragopal retyped the entire proposal once again. The job was over by 11:30 p.m. Needless to say, we had ordered some hot snacks from nearby Krishna Cafe to boost our morale. The chapter Dilli Chalo, my experiences as a general manager is continuing. Thank you very much for your patience. Request for like, subscribe and share.